reconnaissance team touched down on RE-062, a world that had been marked on the galactic maps as a death world, a planet where the environment itself seemed determined to kill everything that stepped onto it. The ship's hull groaned as it made its final approach, the dense atmosphere pressing against its fragile frame. Inside the craft, Lieutenant Jake Carter tightened his grip on the armrest, feeling the weight of command settle on his shoulders. He glanced around at his team. Ryan West, the sharp-eyed biologist; Maya Alvarez, the engineer with a knack for solving impossible problems; and a few other specialists, all veterans of deep space exploration. Each of them had trained for months for this moment, but no amount of preparation could have truly prepared them for the horrors of RE-062. The moment the hatch opened, they were hit with a wall of humid, oppressive air. The temperature was suffocating, pushing past 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and the atmosphere thick with chemicals that made breathing feel like drowning in molasses. But it wasn't just the heat that made the place so deadly, it was the planet itself. The ground seemed alive with a restless energy, and the trees were twisted, their bark jagged like something out of a nightmare. Insects the size of dogs zipped through the air, their wings cutting through the dense air with unsettling speed. Massive four-legged creatures roamed in the distance, their eyes gleaming with an unnatural intelligence as they surveyed the new arrivals. Jake quickly motioned for the team to suit up and move out, their heavy exosuits designed to protect them from the planet's toxic atmosphere and to withstand the planet's crushing gravity. As they made their way to the designated campsite, Maya noticed the lack of natural sounds, a profound silence. No birds, no distant rustling of leaves, just the oppressive hum of the planet. She felt a chill despite the heat. There were no signs of any past life forms here, not even the faintest trace of ancient civilizations. "Move fast, stay close, and keep your weapons ready," Jake ordered, his voice steady, though he could feel the gnawing unease deep in his gut. This was supposed to be a scientific mission, a simple survey. But Jake knew that if things went wrong, they'd be on their own. The Galactic Council had ruled RE-062 off-limits for a reason. Ryan scanned the environment with his portable bioscanner. "No immediate threats in the area," he reported, though his voice lacked conviction. He had seen the readings: plants that could kill you with a single touch, insects that hunted in swarms, and predators capable of tearing through metal with ease. Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted. A loud crash echoed through the air. Something massive was coming their way. Jake's instincts kicked in, and he shouted, "Get to the camp now. Move." Before anyone could react, a shadow loomed overhead, and the earth trembled as a monstrous, scaled creature emerged from the jungle. Its eyes gleamed with hunger as it lunged toward them, its massive jaws snapping shut just inches from Jake's face. The team scattered, scrambling for cover as the creature roared, shaking the earth. They had only just arrived, and already they were under attack. The team scattered in all directions, adrenaline coursing through their veins as they darted for cover. The monstrous creature, a towering eight-legged behemoth with thick, armored scales, let out a deafening screech as it snapped its jaws at the retreating humans. Its long, sinewy limbs kicked up the dirt, sending shockwaves through the ground with every step. The earth beneath them felt unstable, like the planet itself was shaking with rage. "Move! Move! Don't stop!" Jake shouted, his voice strained but commanding. He instinctively reached for his sidearm, but knew the standard weapons wouldn't be enough to bring down something of that size. He needed to think fast. Ryan was the first to react, scrambling behind a large rock and pulling out his bioscanner. His eyes darted frantically across the screen, trying to make sense of the creature's movements. "It's coming this way," he yelled, but it was too late. The creature was already charging, its massive claws slashing through the underbrush, closing the distance too quickly. Jake saw the beast's fangs glistening in the dim light and knew they didn't have much time. He didn't hesitate. Drawing his combat knife, he ducked under a low branch and sprinted toward the creature's flank. The others were still trying to take cover, but Jake had always been a strategist. If he could just get in close enough, he might be able to strike at its weak points. The creature's head turned with unnerving speed, its eyes locking onto Jake. He felt a wave of terror wash over him, but he suppressed it, focusing on the task at hand. The beast's jaws snapped shut just inches from his face, and in that split second, Jake dove to the side, narrowly avoiding its deadly teeth. Ryan's voice crackled through the comms. "Jake, don't." But Jake wasn't listening. He needed to act. In a blur of motion, he rolled and slashed his knife across the beast's underbelly, where its thick armor was weakest. The blade sank into its scales, drawing a surge of black, oily fluid from the wound. The creature recoiled, howling in pain. That was all the team needed. Maya and the others opened fire, unleashing a barrage of plasma rounds. The creature staggered backward, reeling from the combined assault. But just as they thought they had the upper hand, the ground trembled again. A second creature, this one even larger, emerged from the jungle, its eyes glowing with hunger. "There's more," Maya shouted, panic creeping into her voice. The team couldn't keep up the fight much longer. Jake could feel the weight of the situation pressing down on him. They had no reinforcements, no way to contact anyone off-world. If they didn't escape soon, they would be wiped out. But that was when his eyes fell on something strange. A small, unassuming plant growing nearby, its twisted, vibrant leaves shimmering under the light. He didn't think. He grabbed a handful and chewed it, hoping for some kind of boost. The taste was bitter, almost acrid, but it did something to him. He felt his senses sharpen, his muscles tense with newfound strength. The planet, it seemed, was offering its own solution. "What did you just eat?" Ryan demanded, his voice low with shock. Jake could only grin. "I think we've just found our way out." The bitter taste of the plant lingered in Jake's mouth as he stood there, the ground trembling beneath his feet. The second creature, even larger than the first, roared again, its massive jaws snapping open with a hunger that seemed infinite. But something in Jake had shifted. His heart raced, yes, but not out of fear. His body was alive with energy, and his mind was sharp, almost hyper-aware of everything around him. He could feel the blood rushing through his veins, as if his very cells were pulsing with strength. "Jake, what the hell did you just eat?" Ryan's voice came through his earpiece again, the panic clear in his tone. "You're not acting right." Jake didn't respond immediately. Instead, he turned toward the massive creature that had just emerged from the jungle, its claws digging into the earth, its fangs bared in a menacing grin. He felt connected to it, as if something deep inside him understood the beast, could anticipate its next move. His body moved before his mind could process it. Without thinking, Jake leaped toward the charging creature, his legs propelling him higher than human physiology should have allowed. He landed just behind it, his hands grabbing onto its massive, thick-scaled back. The beast twisted violently, but Jake held on with an unnatural grip, his fingers digging into the creature's flesh. He could feel the heat radiating off its body, the immense power in its muscles. The creature bucked, but Jake had already anticipated its movements. In one fluid motion, he sliced his knife across its neck, not with the clumsy strike of a human, but with the precise speed of something far faster. The creature let out a horrific screech before collapsing to the ground, its massive body falling still. Ryan, Maya, and the others watched in stunned silence. They had seen Jake fight before, but this was different. He had moved like an apex predator himself, almost as though the planet had molded him into something new. "What just happened?" Maya whispered, her voice barely audible. Jake stood over the fallen creature, breathing deeply, still feeling the rush of power coursing through his body. His muscles burned with an intensity he had never known. He looked back at his team, his expression distant, as if he were seeing them through a fog. "I don't know," he said, his voice steady but laced with something darker. "But I think I'm adapting to this world." Ryan cautiously approached, scanning Jake with his bioscanner. Your heart rate's normal, but your muscle density, it's increased. Your adrenaline levels are through the roof, and your reflexes are off the charts. What did you eat? Jake could barely explain it. The words felt strange coming from his mouth. He had eaten the plant, but it wasn't just the plant. It was something more. It had done something to him, something that was beyond anything he could have anticipated. And now he felt stronger than ever before, faster than ever before. But there was a strange sense of unease settling in the pit of his stomach. The first creature was dead. The second had been taken down. But the battle had only just begun. We need to keep moving, Jake said, shaking off the creeping feeling that he was no longer entirely human. Whatever this planet is doing to us, it's making us stronger. And that might be the only thing that keeps us alive. The air was thick with the smell of burnt flesh and the pungent, acrid scent of the creature's blood. Jake stood over the remains of the massive beast, still feeling the adrenaline buzzing through his body. His mind was clear, sharper than it had ever been, but there was something unsettling about the change within him. It was as though RE-062 was not just a planet. It was a living, breathing organism that was sinking its teeth into him, changing him from the inside out. Ran, Maya, and the rest of the team cautiously approached, eyes wide with both awe and concern. They had all seen Jake in action before. Hell, they'd trained together for months, but they had never seen him move like that. There was something animalistic in his movements, something predatory. "You okay?" Ryan asked, his voice hesitant as he scanned Jake with his bioscanner. "Your vitals are way off the charts. Your body's shifting." Jake wiped his hand across his brow, his face flushed, but he didn't feel the exhaustion he should have. "I'm fine," he said, his voice firm but tinged with an edge of something primal. "We need to focus on the bigger picture. There's something out there, something worse than these things." Maya nodded, keeping a wary eye on the dense jungle around them. "Jake's right. Whatever's going on here, it's not just the wildlife. There's something deeper. We've only just scratched the surface." A deep growl reverberated from the shadows, cutting through the tension in the air. The ground trembled again. It was the sound of something big, very big. Jake's eyes darted toward the jungle's edge, his senses sharp and alert. He could feel the presence of the creature before he saw it, a massive, multi-legged predator, its body covered in thick, spiked armor. It moved silently through the underbrush, its eyes glowing like twin moons, locked onto the group. Before anyone could react, the creature lunged, its jagged claws slashing through the air, aiming for Maya. She screamed, but Jake was faster. With a speed that defied human capability, he dove toward her, grabbing her by the arm and pulling her out of the way just as the creature's claws slammed into the ground where she had been standing. The force of the impact sent rocks flying, and the air was filled with a deafening screech of rage from the beast. Jake didn't think. He moved purely on instinct, rolling to his feet and launching